Hello writers, welcome to Unit 1. As we start to look at this first unit, really want to focus on this overall title, Communication Cornerstones. You want to think about these really foundations that are really going to help us build our writing this week. When you want to access the Unit 1 folder, from your navigation, if you select Unit 1, this will open up all the items in your folder. There's also a handy dandy search bar up here if you need to search for something, which is also helpful. Once we select Unit 1 Start here, this is going to start to give you your overview, and this is going to be the same organization every week, right? So going through the overview is going to be really, really important. We want to start to think about this week, this idea of something that's changed our perspective. So an article, is there something that you read somewhere that really made you think, right? So that's something we want to think about, this idea of really effective communication overall. As you kind of go through each week, we'll start with the overview. There's toggle switches up here, so you can click the little next arrows, and this will bring you right to this next section. So the unit skills, we'll be talking about reading comprehension, verbal communication, and visual communication. What we're going to be working on as our main project is a multimodal project. So that means we're going to be using different modes of creating this. So we're going to be using slides, we'll be using writing to really show your ideas. Next, you'll be working on a quiz. So once you open it up in the unit page, once you select go to quiz, this will open this for you. It'll give you a description of everything and the quiz questions. So this quiz is just labeled as a quiz. All this really is starting to think about, your foundation, where you are with your writing, and how confident you are and your ability to succeed. This is really helpful for me, so I can share additional resources and kind of help and support you throughout the course. So there's only these couple of questions to answer, and this is not a right or wrong situation. It's really sharing your experiences, so that's really important. After the quiz, you can select that next button and go to your learning resources. These resources are really important to finish and go through, taking notes if needed, because this will help you as we work on our discussion and our assignment as well. So you can select all of these. This will open everything up, and you can kind of go through each section here, because our first discussion that we have, once we select here, is going to be Grammarly and discussing Grammarly. So once we select that go to discussion, there's always going to be a purpose to get us started and then specific instructions, right? So the important part about this discussion is you're starting to think about Grammarly and how you can use this as a tool. You'll also go through and start to think about, look at the features, right? Look at the AI assisted tools. Think about how they can help your own writing process. Rather than letting it just go through and suggest and you say, yes, yes, yes. Think about those decisions that you are making, right? So you're going to talk about a couple of things here. Are you looking to improve communication skills for a professional context? So what are you doing now for a job, or what are you doing in the future? How are these skills, what are you looking to do improving these skills? You want to start to think about this too if you want to be more confident in this multimodal presentation. It's something too that we're going to look at. There's going to be a little blurb here of the week 7 assignment. And then specific types of communication that have challenged you in the past. This is another important question because it's really going to help me start to see if there's any challenges that I can help with. So to try it out, all the instructions are here as well as in that course overview. In your responses, there we go. Okay, so you're going to add 2 responses. You're going to think about as specific as possible, supporting their ideas, asking questions. Really think about what you can connect with your classmates, even offer different perspectives, right? In their discussion requirements, aim for 150 to 200 words in each one of your posts, right? And when you respond to your classmates, this is going to be 75 to 100 words. The responses, make sure that you're adding that initial post by Sunday and then your peer responses by Tuesday. So it gives you enough time to go through everything in the course and getting in those responses as well. So after we have that discussion, the next thing that you're going to look at is just the introduction to this project. So the project is until Unit 7. We're going to be building this really piece by piece, which is going to be important. So starting to look at this project is really essential because you're going to be able to really share your experiences. You're going to be advocating for a policy change in the workplace or an organization that matters to you. So start thinking about that is really going to help, especially in our assignment, as we start coming up. We're going to be building this project overall. After we'll go through this, you want to make sure that we look at our assignment. So when we select go to assignment, this is going to be our first major assignment. This will get turned in through Turnitin, the plagiarism detection. We also have a rubric for each assignment, so you'll be able to look at this as well. When you select the Unit 1 assignment instructions, this will open up those instructions overall. It'll let you know the purpose, right? So this week, we're starting to think about reading and analyzing complex text, the skills that you're going to be learning, and then the instructions. So for this one in particular, you're choosing one of the texts provided here. We're going to look at active reading and a couple other things as you start to add this response here. So after you go through and complete this will be submitted. Everything we'll do, those major assignments will always be due by Tuesday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern. So just keep that in mind as you work on this. So if we go back to our unit page, after that last assignment here, there's always going to be a unit summary. So the summary is really going to wrap up some of those main ideas and start to think about what we're looking ahead towards the future into our second unit. So as you kind of go through each thing this week, please reach out if you have any questions. I'm happy to help.